What's going on, guys? I'm Danny, and thank you for checking out my channel, Blu-ray Dan. How's everybody doing? I hope each and every one of you guys are doing well. Now, this video right here is going to be my top 20 movies of 2016. Now, I've thought long and hard about this. I've gone back and forth. I've rearranged certain things, and I was never exactly sure which was gonna make it, which was not. I've seen a total of 131 movies from 2016, and it was really hard picking out what belonged where, deciding if this one is better than this one because of the acting, or if this one's better than this because I just enjoyed it more. So there were a lot of factors that went into this, and then finally today I sat down and I was able to, for now actually, time changes things, but today I was actually able to sit down and finally figure out my top 20. If my opinions are different than yours, guys, just understand these are my opinions. These are the ones that I decided upon, so open up your mind and just enjoy it. And hopefully, if you guys hear about new movies that you haven't known about, hopefully you guys will check them out and maybe you'll like them as well. Now, really quick before I get started, if you guys could do me a favor and smash that like button, I would really appreciate it if you like this video. If you have anything that you'd like to say throughout the video, just pause it, leave a comment down below. Make sure to share it when you're done if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, that's a big one. But even more importantly than that, if you guys are subscribed, make sure you guys hit that bell symbol next to the subscribe button. That is now a notifications button, and if that is not clicked, you are not guaranteed, even if it is clicked, you're not fully guaranteed to see each video that I post, but that gives you a better chance to get notified when I do post a video up. So if you guys could just please hit that button now, right before you finish the video, I would greatly appreciate it. But alright guys, without further ado, let's get started, and we're gonna go from number 20 down to number 1, so hope you guys enjoy. Coming in at number 20, we have Bloodfather. Now, Bloodfather is starring Mel Gibson, and it's a revenge/action flick. The movie's basically about Mel Gibson's daughter who gets herself in some trouble. Some guys wind up coming after her, and he's, forced to protect her. Now, this one kind of flew underneath the radar, but, I mean, I'm telling you guys, this one was action-packed. Mel Gibson was awesome. He has a beard, for crying out loud. His acting was actually really good, and the story was pretty interesting, and it was overall just a very fun movie. So, if you guys have not seen Bloodfather, I suggest you guys check it out. At number 19, we have Deadpool. Now, Deadpool starring Ryan Reynolds and TJ Miller, and if you guys don't know about this movie, you must have been living under a rock this year. Deadpool is the brand new superhero comedy movie, and the reason I believe it gets so much love is because it's so different from all the other superhero movies that we've gotten lately. It's raunchy, it's brutal, I believe it was rated R, don't quote me on that, but I believe it was. The fight scenes were fantastic, the acting was great, and it was just an overall fun movie. Now, I've been a big fan of Ryan Reynolds for so long, really long ago, since I seen him in Just Friends, and yeah, I knew he was perfect for the role as soon as I found out that he was going to be doing it, and I mean, the movie did not disappoint at all. People are going to get annoyed that it's not farther up to the top of my list, but it still made my top 20. Doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's worse, it doesn't mean it's good, whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, guys, that is Deadpool at number 19. Coming in at number 18, we have Money Monster. Now, Money Monster is starring George Clooney and Julia Roberts, and the movie's basically about George Clooney, who is a news anchor who discusses a lot of the stocks, and he gives suggestions on what stocks that you guys should invest in and which ones you should pull out from. And during one of the shootings of the show, somebody comes in and he holds him up, he puts a gun to his head, makes him put on a bomb vest, and it turns out that the guy invested in one of the stocks that George Clooney's character suggested, and out of nowhere, even though it was a very high one on the list, the stock wound up plummeting and the guy lost everything. Now, this movie was very interesting. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I think I saw it early on in the summer, and yeah, I was very surprised by it. I knew I had wanted to see it, but it passed a lot of my expectations, and yeah, I think it's another underrated movie. So if you guys have not checked out Money Monster, go ahead and do that, because that is number 18. At number 17, we have Deepwater Horizon. Now, Deepwater Horizon is starring Mark Wahlberg and Kurt Russell, and it is based on the true story from 2010 of I believe it was the largest oil spill stories of all time. It was the absolute worst. It was a big disaster. Now, what happens were the people that were in charge of, I guess, allowing them to drill and start pumping the oil were supposed to go through proper tests and regulations and just to make sure that everything was safe. But what they wound up doing was they wanted to save money, and they wanted to skip a bunch of protocols, which, a lot of people were suggesting, listen, we don't do this, we can't do this because it's way too dangerous, not just for the people who were on the oil rig, but for everybody, the ocean life, everything. And the higher ups told them, no, listen, go ahead with it. I believe it was John Malkovich, actually. He told them to go ahead with it, and it wound up becoming such a massive disaster. Like I said, the biggest oil spill in history. Now, the cinematography of the movie was done really well. The story was intense, and I mean, it's such a sad sad story and just really messed up. And it's definitely one that you guys should check out if you have not. It's important to know stories that actually happen like this. In the 16th spot, we have Man Down. Now, Man Down is starring Shia LaBeouf, Jai Courtney, Kate Mara, and Gary Oldman. And this is actually a movie that I wound up watching today. It's one that I had wanted to see, but it wasn't playing anywhere near me. It's a war film, and guys, it was marketed all wrong. I'm talking all the way from when they put out the trailer. The trailer looked like it was a music video. The music that they used, the way it was edited, it was, even the plot of the story, it was put out so incorrectly that it did not do this movie justice whatsoever, and therefore the movie flew underneath the radar. They put it as it's a post-apocalyptic story where this guy's looking for his son. Guys, ignore that. It honestly, truly has absolutely nothing to do with a post-apocalyptic story. What it really does is that it touches on the effects of war and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. It's very, very deep story. It was intense. It's not perfect. You know, there were some editing issues with it and some stuff, like you could see some green screen and some CGI. But Shia LaBeouf's performance, not just in this movie, in every movie he's in, he puts his all into it, which is why he's one of my favorite actors and always has been since even Stevens. But it's such an important movie. I really believe it's an important movie, and it's sad that this one's being swept under the rug just because of the way it was marketed. So if you guys, please listen, do me a favor. If you get the chance, please look into this movie and let me know what you think. Especially if you've seen this movie already, let me know what you thought about it. At number 15, we have Bleed for This. Now, Bleed for This is starring Miles Teller. I wasn't sure if I was going to wind up doing that again, but it somehow sneaks in. Now, this movie is starring Miles Teller, and it is based on the true story of Vinny Pazienza, or the Tasmanian Devil. And if you guys don't know anything about it, it is a boxing movie, and it is one of, or they consider it, the biggest comeback story in all of boxing history. If you guys don't know anything about this movie, the story goes that the Tasmanian Devil, Vinny Paz, was a great boxer who wound up getting into a very, very severe car accident, and he wound up having to wear, or the doctor gave him a couple options. Either they do some kind of fusing of his spine where he's guaranteed to walk again but not to box again, or go against, you know, the high suggestion of the doctors, and they put this big, like, device neck brace thing on him that had screws that screwed into his skull and everything, and he had a chance, a very, very slim to none chance of boxing again. Of course, Vinny Paz wound up taking that route, and because he just loved boxing so much, it's all he knew. But despite what everybody was saying, he plowed through it, and he makes a comeback, and he works himself back up to box again. And without giving anything else away, the movie was just fantastic. The music was great, the story was great, Miles Teller was great, and it was just a fun movie, and I really, really enjoyed it. So definitely check out Bleed for This. Coming in at number 14, we have Mr. Church. Now, Mr. Church is starring the one and only Eddie Murphy. I know a lot of people were skeptical about this movie because it's Eddie Murphy playing a serious role, but guys, let me tell you something. The movie was fantastic. The movie was so well acted. Eddie Murphy's character was basically, he was a talented cook who was hired to cook for a little girl and her mother as the mother was dying of cancer. The relationship that came between the little girl and Mr. Church, Eddie Murphy's character, it was fantastic. It was heartwarming, and the whole movie was just sad but nice at the same time. And this put Eddie Murphy back on the map for me because he hasn't really done stuff that I've liked too much lately. But I mean, very, very, very good movie. If you guys have not seen Mr. Church, I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 13, we have 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now, 10 Cloverfield Lane is starring John Goodman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and John Gallagher Jr. Now, this is technically the spin-off sequel, or the sequel spin-off to the original Cloverfield movie. Now, this movie, man, I went through a whole big change of emotions throughout the film. When I first saw the movie in theaters, I was so disappointed. I did not like it at all because I loved the original Cloverfield. I was expecting some kind of a connection, something that really, you know, brought the two films together. Unfortunately, I didn't get that, so I wound up hating the movie when I left the theater. Lucky for me, when I got the Blu-ray, I rewatched it, and I really started to appreciate what this movie was. Although it's not a direct sequel to the movie, it still takes place in the same world, and John Goodman's character, John Goodman was fantastic in this movie. This is probably one of my favorite roles from him, and it was so super intense. You didn't know which way the movie was going to turn. And yeah, just, you know, it went from being such a bad movie in my opinion originally to being, I mean, look, it's on the number 13 spot of my 2016 list. At number 12, we have Train to Busan. Now, Train to Busan is a Korean zombie film, and it was one that I'd seen the trailers for. I didn't really think much of it. I thought, you know, it looked pretty cool. I'm a big fan of zombie movies, but then I started hearing some positive reviews on the movie, and people were saying, man, this is great. It's one of the best. So I started started looking around, and when I couldn't find it in any regular theater, I was pretty disappointed until my friend pointed out that it was playing at the museum. So we wound up going there, watching the movie, and guys, the movie was so good. I mean, the zombies were scary and creepy as all hell. The instant change of a zombie, I think, is what creeps me out the most. The way they moved was creepy, but it wasn't just about that. It was the story. The story was really well done. It was basically about a father taking his daughter to go see his mother when this whole outbreak happens, and, you know, the characters that you meet along the way, they were funny, they were, you know, you cared about them. So the character development was really, really well done in such a short amount of time, and I just wound up really getting invested into the film, and it was just, it's one of my favorite zombie movies now. So I highly recommend it, guys. If you have not seen Train to Busan, check it out. Coming in at number 11, we have the movie Lion. Now, Lion is starring Dev Patel, and it is another movie based on a true story. It's basically about a 5-year-old boy who ends up getting lost from his family. He travels through all these different parts of India, I believe, until he was taken in by, I believe it was child services, I'm not exactly sure, but he was taken in and he was adopted by another family, and 25 years later, he winds up starting to remember exactly where his family lived, and it's just a fantastic story of him trying to find his way back home, you know, after all these years. Now, again, the acting was fantastic. The only gripe that I have with it is I would have hoped to have seen Dev Patel a little bit longer in the movie. It was pretty much split between his younger actor and him, like, pretty much directly in the middle, but nonetheless, the movie was fantastic. It's an incredible story, and yeah, like I said, it's a true story. So if you guys have not seen Lion, check it out. Coming in at number 10, we have Don't Think Twice. Now, Don't Think Twice is starring Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele. It's starring Jillian Jacobs and just a ton of other people. And the movie's based on an improv group in New York City, and one of the people within the group wound up getting a shot to be on Saturday Night Live. Now, because of this, it winds up, you know, bothering everybody else in the group, or, you know, some people are happy for him and some people are not happy for him because they kind of feel like, hey, listen, we've all been doing this, why were you picked and we weren't? And, you know, the movie, it's relatable to me because originally when I was younger, I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. I've done a lot of, not improv on stage, but you know, during my acting classes and everything, during school, I used to do a lot of improv, and it felt very real to me. And the movie, you know, it was comical, it was sad, it was an eye-opener about what time does to you, and it just, how some people will make it in life and some people will not. And I don't know, the movie just, I connected with the film, and it's a very interesting story, and if you guys haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Coming in at number 9, we have La La Land. La La Land is starring my baby Emma Stone and that jerk Ryan Gosling. I'm just kidding, guys. I know a lot of people are gonna get annoyed at that. Listen, Ryan Gosling. See, I can't even say his name because he's horrible. I'm just messing, everybody. All right, I'm just messing. I just don't like when he's, you know, kissing my girl. Now, I'm sure everybody already knows about this movie. Emma Stone is playing an aspiring actress, and Ryan Gosling is playing a jazz pianist, and both of them are having trouble with their careers. They're having trouble, you know, going forward. Now, again, this movie is, you know, it's relatable because I'm into acting. I want to do acting. I'm an aspiring actor, and just seeing the struggles and everything that Emma Stone has to go through, and even with Ryan Gosling, because he's an artist, the way the whole movie was done, it was so beautiful. Now, I'm not usually into musicals. I actually really never watch musicals, but this one was different. It was fun. It was uplifting. It was so beautifully filmed. The cinematography was fantastic, and the colors, guys, the colors in the movie are what get you. Even on the poster, the deep blue, everything is just beautiful. Now, I know a lot of people probably have this higher up on the list. I personally do not. I don't think it was the best movie of the year, but it was a very, very good one, and I do recommend La La Land if you have not seen it yet. At number 8, we have Hacksaw Ridge. Now, Hacksaw Ridge is a war movie directed by Mel Gibson and it's starring Andrew Garfield. Now, if you guys don't know anything about the story of Hacksaw Ridge, it's based around Andrew Garfield's character named Desmond Doss, who enlists in the army to be a medic. Now, while he's there, he chooses not to use any weapons whatsoever, no guns, no nothing, because he feels that, you know, there's so much war and death going on. Why should he take other people's lives when, as a medic, he wants to save people's lives? So after going through a bunch of, you know, court hearings and, you know, jail time, they finally allow him to run into, you know, the war without a gun if that's what he wants to do. Now, the story is so incredible because everybody doubted him. Nobody thought it could, you know, everyone thought he was going to be the first one to die. When in fact, throughout one of the most brutal war periods, he wound up saving 75 people's lives without ever shooting a gun. It's incredible. Now, you know, I didn't always like Andrew Garfield as an actor, but he's been, as the years are going on with each movie, he's increasingly getting better. But you know what? He's not the only one who shined in this movie. movie. The movie is also starring Hugo Weaving, who played his father, and he also did a fantastic job. Guys, if you haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge, the movie just hit Blu-ray, so make sure you pick it up and watch the damn thing. At number 7, we have The Jungle Book. Now guys, The Jungle Book, what a fantastic, fantastic movie. If you guys haven't heard me say it before, The Jungle Book was one of my favorite Disney classic cartoon movies growing up. Everything about it, it's fun, the music, the characters, it was just such a fun movie. And to see Disney bring it to life was incredible. It was one of the best theater experiences that I had in 2016. And I mean guys, everything about it, it was beautifully filmed. The voice actors who played the characters, they did such a fantastic job. The little boy did such a great job as Mowgli. The movie was intense and it was fun and it was action packed, and it was just like, I don't know, it was like living your childhood all over again. If you guys have not seen the new Jungle Book movie, I highly recommend it. Check it out ASAP. Coming in at number 6, we have Hell or High Water. Now, Hell or High Water is a Western film that's starring Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, and Ben Foster. And the story is basically about Chris Pine wants to get money for his kids in order to, I guess, save their family home. And Ben Foster plays his brother, who I believe is an ex-con in the movie. And the best way that they find that they can do this is by robbing small banks. Now, Jeff Bridges is a sheriff in town, and of course, he is dead set on catching the people who keep doing this. And yeah, I mean, guys, this was another fantastic movie. It was so much fun. It was so entertaining. Chris Pine did a fantastic job. He's, you know, I like him as an actor, but I don't love him as an actor. This is probably my favorite role that he's been in. Jeff Bridges is always fantastic, and you know, even Ben Foster, he is so underrated. All three of them did such a good job with this movie. Like I said, you know, the story is interesting. It's very well shot, and it's crazy, but it's also somehow heartfelt. And yeah, I mean, that's why it is in the number 6 spot. If you guys have not seen it, check out Hell or High Water. In the number 5 spot, we have Sing Street. Now, Sing Street takes place in the 80s, and it's based around a kid who doesn't have the best family life at the moment, and his parents are kind of going through a divorce, so it puts him at a kind of a weird state in his life. And one day, while he's in a brand new school, he winds up meeting this girl, and in order to impress her, he starts his own band with a couple other kids from the school. Now, guys, this movie, it was like a hidden gem of the year. The movie's fun, the story's great, the acting was great, the music was fun, and it was I don't know, it was just like a feel-good movie. I remember sitting there in the theater with a big smile on my face, and I knew as soon as I got out that I could not wait for the Blu-ray to be released. So if you guys have not seen Sing Street, check it out, guys. Highly, highly recommend. At number 4, we have Eye in the Sky. Now, Eye in the Sky is another intense war film, and this one is starring Helen Mirren, which I think that's how you say her name, and it's also starring Aaron Paul. And of course, we all know Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. Now, this movie, it's a very slow burn movie, but it's just super, super intense. Now, Aaron Paul he's basically a guy who's in control of shooting off missiles. And now Helen Mirren's character is basically Aaron Paul's higher up, and she's pretty much the one who gives the orders of if you shoot the missile, when you shoot the missile, and where you shoot the missile. You know, she's the one who gives him the orders. Now, they're basically sitting there watching a terrorist group. They're looking for all kinds of terrorist activity, different people that I guess have been on like the hit list. And the higher ups of Helen's character, pretty much they give her the order to tell your people to shoot the missile and take these guys out. And the only problem is while they're doing that, there's a little girl who is in the vicinity of where the bomb would explode. And the whole movie is, it's like a back and forth of, are you sure you want us to drop this bomb? This little girl is here. Please go talk to your higher up, and you talk to your higher up, and you talk to your blah, 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 blah. And it's just, the movie's really, really intense. It's pretty spooky at times if you really think about it. It's such an interesting story, and you know, these things really do happen. Now, I've never been in a movie where I was literally sitting on the edge of my seat because the movie was really that intense. And I mean, everybody did such a great job. Aaron Paul, he blew me away. I mean, like I said, if you guys are able to sit through slow burns, I really recommend this one. Coming up in the number 3 spot, we have Anthropoid. Now, Anthropoid is another war film, and it's also based on a true story. This one is starring Cillian Murphy and Jamie Dornan, I think his name is, the guy from 50 Shades. The movie's basically about, it takes place in World War II, and it's based off of these two characters who were sent on a mission that was called Anthropoid, and it was to sneak into Germany and assassinate Hitler's third in command. Now, the movie, guys, I know I said intense like a billion times throughout this whole video, but the intensity level is at an all-time high because these two guys, they have to sneak around. They don't know anything about this area, but they have to sneak around and they have to meet with people that they don't know if they're supposed to trust or not, but they meet with them, and some people are nice enough to house them, and the whole entire time they're spying on and studying the ins and outs of all the German troops, the Nazi troops, and basically they're just studying and waiting for the perfect time to kill this guy. And you know, guys, I mean, to think that these people actually had to go through these things, it's super, super crazy, and it's sad, and, you know, I don't even know how else to go about this without giving anything else away. And guys, the movie is extremely, extremely well acted. Jamie Dornan from 50 Shades really surprised me, so much that I didn't even realize that it was him. And Cillian Murphy, he's getting better and better in every movie that I see him in. This was probably my favorite that I've seen him in, honestly. But guys, if you have not even heard of Anthropoid, which I don't think any of you guys have, please, please, please do me a favor. Go watch it. Go buy this movie. It's out on Blu-ray. Go buy it. Go watch it and get back to me. Let me know what you think. In the number 2 spot, we have Green Room. Now, Green Room is starring Anton Yelchin and Patrick Stewart. This movie it's about a punk rock band who's basically going around from place to place just trying to make some money. And they get to this one place that was kind of last minute. It wasn't where they were supposed to be. But they get this show at this one place where it turns out it's like a bunch of neo-Nazi people, and as they're finishing their set, they're going back to the room to gather all their things, and they witness a crime, a murder. Now, when this happens, they just want to get the hell out of there. You know, they want to forget what they saw. But unfortunately, the people who work there, Patrick Stewart being the leader, the main guy, he does not want to let them go. They've seen too much, and they don't want any chance of word getting out. Now, guys, this is one of the most intense movies. I mean, intense isn't the only word that I want to use here. I have to use the word brutal. I mean, these guys they're fighting for their lives. There's some gore, there's some blood, there's broken bones. I mean, it's just, oh, what a crazy movie. And you know, this was one of, like, I guess this is one of the first movies that Anton Yelchin's character pretty much stood out for me. And right after the movie released, he wound up passing away, very, very tragically. I mean, it just makes this movie so much more precious to me, I guess, if that makes any sense. So, I mean, if you guys haven't seen Green Room and you could stomach the brutality and the fighting and the survival, I highly recommend that one if you have not seen it yet. And coming up in the number 1 spot, we have 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Now, guys, if you don't know anything about this movie, it is another war film, and it is also based on a true story. This one has John Krasinski from The Office. He's the one that's in the lead. It takes place on one of the anniversaries of September 11th, and it's where a U.S. compound in Libya was attacked by terrorists. Now, when these terrorists attacked the U.S. compound, the only people that were really there to protect it was a security team, but they were all former soldiers, and I mean, guys, here's where this is one of the most intense movies that I have on this list. You never knew what was going to happen next. They were fighting for their lives, and a first round of people came to shoot them and kill them. Once they defeated them, another, and then another, and then another. It was like watching a video game where there were just hordes and hordes of enemies coming your way. Now, they kept on calling for help. Nobody came to help them. I mean, you know, like each group of people that were coming to attack them, they didn't know if they were friends or enemies until they were actually being shot at and bullets were flying over their heads. Let me just tell you something, guys. When I first saw this movie, I saw it in the very, very, very beginning of the year. I honestly did not like this movie when I first saw it. I really didn't. I thought the pacing was a little off and there was a lot of story. I don't know. But when the movie came out on Blu-ray and I rewatched it, I was blown away. It was like I was watching a completely different movie, and I appreciated every single thing. From where I thought the pacing was off, I must have been out of my mind, because I think the pacing was done so perfectly. Just to think that this is all based on a true story, it's mind-boggling to me. In fact, many of the movies that I mentioned here that are on my top 20 list were based on true stories, which is just, they're all just pretty outrageous. But this one, I mean, guys, this was nowhere near in my top 20 in the beginning, and when it hit my top 1, when I watched it over, the movie just stuck there, and it never left. It would never leave, and I still cannot move it away from the number 1 spot. And like I said, that's because the acting was incredible, the story is incredible and outrageous, and the cinematography just beautifully, beautifully shot. And I can't think of a better movie this year to hold that spot. It deserves the number 1 spot, in my opinion. And once again, guys, if you have not seen this movie, you have not given it a chance, this is another one. Just like I've said with all of them, please give this one a chance. Check it out, watch it if you have not, because these stories deserve to be told and heard. But alright guys, guess what? We made it through the whole list. I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this. I know there are going to be a lot of different movies on this list than there are with other people, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you appreciate it. And guys, just understand, this is my opinion. Now, as for questions, I just want to know, guys, like first of all, of course, what did you think of my list? What movies did you like? What movies did you not like? And I also just want to know, guys, like, give me some movies that you loved throughout the year. Do you have a top top 3, top 5, top 10, 20, anything you guys want to do, just leave it in the comments and let me know. And honestly, that's basically it. There's no other questions that I want to ask. I just hope you enjoyed the damn thing. Now, as always, if you guys could please do me a favor, hit that like button and give me a thumbs up. Leave all of your comments in the comment box down below. Please share the video to all of your family and friends. And if you could do me a favor and please subscribe to my channel, I really would like that. I would love to see the numbers go up and up and up and up and up. We're almost hitting 7,000 subscribers soon. But guys, another thing that's just as important as subscribing, if you can please do me a favor and hit that bell symbol, that little bell button right next to the subscribe button. That can almost guarantee that you will be seeing all notifications when I post videos up, because for some stupid reason YouTube switched things around, and even if you're a subscriber, there is no guarantee that you will be notified. So please hit that button. It's very important. And if you guys would like to follow me outside of YouTube, you can follow me on Facebook on my Facebook group Movie Craze. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, my official website BluRayDan.com, or you can check me out on my other YouTube channel, All Legend Studios, for pranks and sketches. But alright guys, that is it. That is the end of the video. Once again, you all mean the world to me. Thank you so much for enjoying and watching. I hope you're enjoying at least. Who the hell knows though, right? And as always guys, I'm Danny and this is the BluRay Dan channel. I'll see you guys next time.